Welcome back to the Data Guy Show. I'm Naz, and I'm here with Mo, the guy who probably has nightmares about unsecured data pipelines. Today, we're tackling something that sounds about as exciting as watching paint dry: data governance for AI and RAG systems.
Hey now, this is actually fascinating stuff. And honestly, Naz, if you think this is boring, wait until your AI system starts making biased hiring decisions or accidentally leaks customer data. Then you'll wish you'd paid attention to governance.
Okay, you've got my attention. But seriously, why can't we just use the same data governance we've always used? I mean, data is data, right?
That's exactly the misconception that gets organizations into trouble. Think of it this way: traditional data governance is like having security guards for a library. But AI systems, they're more like having a super intelligent robot that not only reads every book but also writes new ones based on what it learned, makes decisions for people, and influences how your business operates in real time.
So we've gone from protecting books to managing robot librarians that might go rogue.
Perfect analogy. And that's precisely why we need specialized governance frameworks.
All right, let's start with the basics. What makes AI data governance so different from what we're already doing?
Great question. Traditional governance treats data as this static thing. You store it, secure it, maybe run some quality checks. But AI governance is dealing with dynamic algorithms that are constantly learning and adapting. It's like the difference between managing a warehouse and managing a living ecosystem.
Living ecosystem, I like that. But what does that actually mean in practice?
Well, let's talk about the ethical dimension first. Traditional governance rarely worries about whether your quarterly sales report is quote unquote fair to different customer segments. But with AI making hiring decisions or loan approvals, suddenly fairness, bias detection, and transparency become mission critical.
Oh, this reminds me of that infamous Amazon hiring AI from a few years back. Didn't it basically learn to be sexist because it was trained on historical hiring data that reflected past biases?
Exactly. That's a perfect example of why AI governance requires this whole new layer of ethical oversight. The AI learned from biased historical data and perpetuated discrimination. Traditional data governance would have said the data is accurate and complete, but AI governance asks, is this data representative and fair?
Yikes. So, what are the consequences if organizations get this wrong?
The stakes are honestly pretty scary. We are talking regulatory penalties, and with new AI regulations coming out constantly, those fines are only getting bigger. But beyond money, there's reputational damage that can tank your brand overnight. Remember when that chatbot started spewing offensive content? That wasn't just bad PR, it was a governance failure.
And I imagine model performance suffers too, right?
Absolutely. Without proper governance, you get model drift where your AI slowly becomes less accurate over time because nobody's monitoring data quality. It's like that game of telephone where the message gets more garbled with each person.
So, what's the solution? How do we actually govern these systems properly?
This is where it gets really interesting. There are 8 core pillars that form the foundation of effective AI governance. Think of them as the essential ingredients. Miss one, and your whole framework falls apart.
8 pillars sounds like a lot. Can you break that down without making my brain hurt?
Absolutely. Let's start with the foundation: data quality and consistency. This isn't just is the data accurate anymore. For RAG systems specifically, you need to ensure your knowledge bases are comprehensive, up to date, and properly structured. Imagine if your RAG system was pulling from outdated medical guidelines. That's not just poor quality, that's dangerous.
That's terrifying. What's next?
Security and privacy, and this is where RAG systems get really tricky. Traditional databases sit behind firewalls, but RAG systems are constantly reaching out to external sources, creating new attack surfaces. Ever heard of prompt injection attacks?
No, but it sounds ominous.
Think of it like someone slipping a malicious note into your AI's input that tricks it into doing something it shouldn't, like revealing sensitive information or behaving in unintended ways. It's like social engineering, but for AI.
So we've gone from worrying about hackers breaking into our systems to worrying about them sweet talking our AI into misbehaving.
Exactly. And that's why the third pillar, data visibility and metadata management, becomes crucial. You need to know not just what data you have, but how it's being used, where it came from, and what context it needs. For RAG systems, metadata isn't just nice to have, it's what helps the system understand and properly process information.
This sounds like we need a whole new level of documentation.
Which brings us to access control and ownership, pillar 4. It's not enough to say only managers can access this data. You need role based controls that understand the nuances of AI workflows. And you need federated management where different teams can control their data while maintaining consistent policies.
Okay, we're halfway through. What about tracking where data goes?
That's pillar 5, data lineage and provenance. In AI, you need to track data from its source through every transformation all the way to the final model output. If your AI makes a wrong decision, you need to trace it back to see if it was bad source data, a processing error, or model drift.
Like a detective investigating a crime scene.
Perfect analogy. Pillar 6 is ownership and accountability, having clear roles and responsibilities. You can't just say the IT department handles AI governance. You need chief data officers, data stewards, and a culture where everyone takes responsibility.
And if something goes wrong, you know exactly who to call.
Right. Pillar 7 is usability and explainability. Your AI can't just make decisions, it needs to explain them in ways humans can understand and audit. This is especially critical for regulated industries where you might need to justify every decision to regulators.
And the eighth pillar?
Risk management, continuously monitoring for bias, model drift, security vulnerabilities, and having response plans ready. It's not enough to set up governance once, you need ongoing vigilance.
This all sounds incredibly complex. Are there specific challenges with RAG systems that make this even harder?
RAG systems add their own unique wrinkles. Unlike static AI models that you train once and deploy, RAG systems are constantly retrieving and integrating new information. It's like having an AI that's constantly reading the internet and incorporating what it learns into its responses.
That sounds both amazing and terrifying.
It really is both. The security vulnerabilities multiply because you're not just protecting your model, you're protecting the entire retrieval process. And the prompt injection attacks I mentioned earlier, RAG systems are particularly vulnerable because they are designed to incorporate external information.
So, how do organizations actually implement all of this without drowning in complexity?
The key is starting with a structured, phased approach. You don't try to implement all 8 pillars across your entire organization overnight. Start with an assessment of your current state, identify your highest risk AI systems, and begin with a pilot project.
Like testing the waters before diving into the deep end.
Exactly. And focus on automation wherever possible. Use AI powered tools to monitor data quality and enforce policies. Build cross functional teams that combine technical expertise with legal, ethical, and business perspectives. And most importantly, stay adaptive. AI governance isn't a set it and forget it situation.
So, let me make sure I've got this straight. AI data governance isn't just traditional governance with extra steps. It's a completely different beast that requires specialized frameworks, continuous monitoring, and a whole new way of thinking about data responsibility.
You've nailed it. And the organizations that get this right aren't just avoiding disasters, they're gaining competitive advantages.
They can deploy AI more broadly, build stakeholder trust, and position themselves as leaders in responsible AI adoption.
The choice is really between being proactive or reactive, and reactive sounds a lot more expensive and painful.
Absolutely. And for anyone who wants to dive deeper into the technical implementation details, the blog post has comprehensive frameworks, assessment tools, and step by step guides for building robust AI governance. There are also visual guides and charts that make all of this much easier to understand and implement.
Perfect. You can find all those resources at theDataGuy.pro. Don't forget to subscribe to the show, leave us a review, and let us know what AI governance challenges you're facing. We might tackle them in a future episode. Thanks for tuning in to the Data Guy Show. New episodes drop every Wednesday, so we'll catch you next week with another deep dive into the world of data and AI.
Until then, keep your data clean and your AI ethical. We're out.